Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Well, shalom, salama, thiemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you are of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house. I want to welcome you all this morning, courtesy of Quest to Unite Africa. Every Friday, we dedicate this Friday to discussions of Quest to Unite Africa, Q2UA. As we look at the continent, and I'm praying the Most High allows this internet connection to to do better. Hallelujah. I don't know. Something happens when I hit that 2-hour magical mark. You know, the internet just starts getting really weird on me. I think YouTube just tries their best to, shut down the algorithm. So, because Q2UA's channel hasn't made a big splash, I would ask that you all please like, share, and subscribe to Quest to Unite Africa. Please like, share, and subscribe to Quest to Unite Africa. So there's a lot of things that's happening throughout the world. And believe it or not, what we see that's happening is all because of the resources in Africa. That is what we're seeing. It is the resources in Africa. It's the control of the resources in Africa. And to be honest, a lot can argue that it's the liberation of the continent from the colonial control. Now, in the same argument, I would also like to say, yes, there is now a neo-colonial, post-colonial colonization of sorts that it's trying to be done on the continent. So without a doubt, the switch up of you go from one colonizer to another, but that another one, the other one, well, their colonization isn't as bad, and there's a level that's not as oppressive. But that's usually how it all starts. It's not that bad. See, we're better. And at the end of the day, the same tactics are being employed or will be employed because that's how this thing goes. It's just a setup. But there's been some groundbreaking news on the continent. And that groundbreaking news to me, and I would say in respect to Q2UA, is the way that the nations are responding to the conflict in the Mediterranean or the Middle East. You now have a South Africa who's part of BRICS. It's the economic bloc composed of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, as well as now adjacent BRICS Plus members and memberships that's included or will include Saudi Arabia, UAE, which is United Arab Emirates, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Argentina. Which to me is a little interesting in terms of Argentina's presidential election, but that'll be something we discuss another day. But one of the things that you are seeing and that we're seeing right now is the buildup of the BRICS economic bloc via regional control of different access points for major naval maritime thoroughfares. And make no mistake about it, family, this is all about economic warfare at its finest. And now we're beginning to see what that economic warfare is going to start to look like for us that's in the diaspora. Now, think about this. They don't want to tell you this and how this relationship goes. As our money goes down, guess what's going to happen? Their money's going to go up. Economics 101. No, it's not oh well, we're going to die with the dollar. No, they're not. They're going to see that there's going to be more parity going on because of economic conditions that have been weakened. When you're weakening economic conditions against a country, you literally start to have the Soviet Union effect. In the early 1980s, late 70s, you really had the Soviet Union everywhere. You remember you would have movies about Rambo, all sorts of missing in action movies, everything else. You're fighting the Soviets, you're fighting the communists, you're fighting. And remember, what that was doing was that the movies were creating a propaganda campaign that was being visible throughout the world because that's what Hollywood was doing. That was the propaganda arm. Guess what? If it was effective against us with Birth of a Nation and, having us portrayed as uncivilized, degenerate animals, especially for quote unquote African American males, well, that same tactic was being used against communist Russia and the Soviet Union, and then you had economic embargoes. And that created the economic instability within the Soviet Union. That was the result of the Cold War. You can't keep anything together if you're running out of money. Fast forward 30, almost 40 years later, well, now that tactic is being utilized against the United States. You can't control or have as much control if you don't have as much money because that money is going to be wrapped up. And instead of wrapping up money into the actual economy to try to keep everything together, the plan is, well, we got to go bust. We got to keep all of our assets or we'll die trying. And that is where we're looking at today. And that is what is being witnessed in Africa, particularly in the region of the Sahel. The Sahel is very important because that is your region of Burkina Faso, your Chad, your Mali, your Niger, your Sudan, South Sudan, uh, all the way to really Eritrea is comprised of that. Um, Central African Republic is comprised, and then you start getting into the Delta countries of um, the Ivory Coast, Senegal, Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, the places that's there on the really affectionately the Ivory Coast, Ivorian Coast, Ebor Coast, Hebrew Coast, however you want to transliterate the coast of where we set sail to be cargoed and carried over to the western part of the world, the nations via the transatlantic slave trade. And these are a fact. Um, there's no YouTube censoring or algorithms. I know the algorithm will probably censor, say we were immigrants that we took a carnival cruise with iron bracelets because the iron bracelets were fashionable at that time, where we would have the Japanese style um, uh, living conditions, just a little bit more cramped on a boat, and we would be able to watch and participate in deck activities called which of the sickly will float to the bottom the fastest, so not to get the cargo infected with any other contagion that might happen. But it's fine, it's good here. In this turn, look, you don't worry. Movies like Amistad, no, 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 no. We're gonna have to CRT it. Amistad was really on the Disney cruise. Because why? Because the truth isn't the truth anymore. Being real, being realistic isn't ideal anymore, because when you are a nation in decline, the other people see your decline, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to tell you you're in decline. You're a nation that's in decline. No, we're not. We're not in decline. We're never better. We're always this. We're always that. We're this. We're that. We're this. We're that. Do we get it? I think a lot of us do. But a lot of them will say, no, that's never the case. Well, don't worry, because that $40 billion hit that the rich took on out in order to line their pockets before they could see the inevitable writing on the wall with the other nations getting their money out of the treasury, out of the T bills, and now they got to make a new T bill with higher rates and all sorts of, will you believe what I am selling? We'll give you this, we'll give you that. Buy larger denominations. That doesn't do anything. And it's not doing anything. And now you see here on Black Friday, folks not even doing anything. There is a markedly difference, a dramatic difference between what I see in Black Friday now and what I saw a year ago. I'm sorry. I don't even hardly see any ads. Is that me? Give me a one in the chat if you could, if you see a difference in the ads being lower. Or like a reduction of the ads. Because I honestly thought that, to me, I thought that the ads would increase. But there's really not even any sales. We got a two. So maybe the ads increased in their area. Maybe it's by region. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was waiting to see. Like, all right, is there going to be like a TV fight or any? No, I don't think so. Nah, it didn't go straight to Christmas or to Christmas. Well, it did go straight to Christmas. It went from mid October. Christmas season was here. Yeah, but even with the online sales, I'm not seeing as much of it as there was last year. There is a dramatic slowdown. And yeah, I don't think anybody's shopping. It's just it's too much uncertainty. You have banks literally failing and they're not broadcasting it. And yeah, I've noticed that too, Sister Corinne. Places are being boarded up. Or you'll see a coming soon. So they'll try to get into a contract, but the banks aren't lending any money for these businesses. The only thing I could think of is when I'm seeing this is that in about another 6 months, it's just going to get dramatically worse. Because then after this Christmas season, right, they're going to say, hey, sorry, our sales did not materialize to what was projected. And we're going to have to start doing now these layoffs. That's what's going to start happening. Last year was a preview of what's going to be worse this year. They always do that in that yearly cycle. They have a 12-month yearly or 12-month cycle, and you see it. Remember, oh, it was going to be real bad for the economy. It's going to be real bad. No, they're projecting. They're telling you it's going to get bad. Not this year, but next year it's going to get bad. Oh, we're going to have a war. We're going to have a conflict. Not this year, but next year. And you can see that at the end of this cycle, you're starting to see that these nations that saw, especially on the continent, that saw the fall of these traditional colonial powers, they're now seeing that there's an increase, a real projected increase. There are projects, real projects. Now you're seeing Burkina Faso, Niger as one of the fastest rising economies in Africa. Because why? Because they took control of their resources. It's amazing when you take control of your resources and then you can circulate that resource amongst your people, just how quickly your people actually get out of poverty. The model of the West. Not to say that they're invading other countries because, they're seeing what's happening in their own country. No, it's to say that when you're able to control your resources and you're not having to spoil your resources or basically ship your resources to other places without a fair compensation or a compensation that is that has equitable standards. Hey, it takes me this amount to get this, so I'm having you pay for this because that is your production cost. 80 cents a kilogram, vice $2,200 or €200 a kilogram is robbery. That's called economic theft. In America, we call that's a crime that's actually called racketeering. I'm going to make you pay this for that. And if you don't pay it, you're threatened with severe bodily injury. Hence, this is why you usually have mafia or other organized gangs getting charged with that crime. Because why? Because it is an undue balance caused by the expectation that harm will come if you do not meet the demands of what you are being extorted out of. Now that extortion is being recognized because when you have somebody step up to the extortion, then guess what? Now countries are paying attention. If you thought that 2023 was going to be interesting with nations being overthrown, just wait till 2024 rolls around. And that is something that Europe and the West, they're loathing to see that day. Because then what ends up happening? Oh, yeah, just wait until they cannot get their chocolate. Chocolate makes everything better. I need my Hershey Kisses. I need my peppermint Hershey Kisses. I mean my Lindt chocolate, my Toblerone. Wait a second, I can't get my Swiss and Belgian chocolate, but it's made by the Swiss and the Belgian. Don't they have cocoa trees in those places? You mean to tell me they don't have cocoa trees? It's appalling. How can they say that they then make the chocolate if the raw material or resource is not produced organically in that country? Wouldn't you say that it is manufactured or produced? Not that it comes from. See, they give you a misdirection in terms of the origin. The whole origin story is wrong. Wait a second, you mean you get the cocoa shipped over and then you refine. So you could say refined or manufactured in those European countries and those Western countries. But you don't make it. And now The end is really coming for Europe because Africa's controlling its resources, and now these other nations are questioning, is it really worth selling our people out? What's the cost benefit analysis? Look at what's happening in Niger. Look at what's happening in Burkina Faso. Wait a second, we're being taxed to do what? For this? Is it really worth it? And then guess what? Now the people are asking, is that really worth it? Now they're trying their best. They're trying to throw concessions on out there. Now they're trying to say, well, you want to know what? We're going to give you visas for the African diasporas, and we're going to make it convenient to travel throughout the continent. Okay, well, are you going to shake off those colonial powers? Let's not have that discussion. Are you going to make our way of life better by reducing these taxes that end up going to the West instead of staying here? Because I guarantee if you still tax us that amount, but it was recirculating within the economy, then guess what? Then the wages would ultimately go up. The cost of, or the quality of living would end up going up. See, you have to understand the paradigm. This is what I was trying to get in the I was trying to do a deep dive a little bit. Forgive me for my economic ramblings. And I'll try to not turn this into a a a, a consortium of academia. Let me go ahead and let me get my peer-reviewed scholarly journals, and let's take some quotes from here, and let's take some paraphrasings from there, and let me give you the resources. Let me give you the whole bunch of footnotes. But in those footnotes, you're going to notice that South Africa is really spearheading a lot of this discussion because that is the influence of BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now, when you see South Africa rising to the occasion and they're saying, listen, we got to get these colonial powers out of here. Step one, we're going after their sacred cow because their sacred cow committed war crimes. And we're closing our embassy, and they shut off diplomatic missions. You know what that does? That literally tells the other African nations, hey, are you going to follow us or are you going to follow them? Just wait till after the first of the year. There's going to be more and more countries shutting off their diplomatic missions. Just wait. Because you had to understand how big of a deal that was. You'll probably have places like Zimbabwe, that's a given. But when you have like the DRC and other places, That's going to be a big one. Because you have to understand that's not really a slap in the face to the folks over there in the Eastern Med. That's a slap in the face to the West because you went after the West sacred cow. And now, what does that mean? Hey, if you're going to support them, then guess what? We're not going to support your economies. Do you see the chess moves that's being made here? I'm trying to explain this thing to you all, family. Let me break this thing on down. You're either going to side with genocide and ride that thing all the way to your destruction, or you're going to start jumping off that train. There's going to be these European nations, they're going to start to jump off the train. You're really not worth it. It was all a lie anyway. Now you're getting found out. You're really not worth it. You already know that you're a European cousin, so we need that African resource, so we're not going to keep this European lie up. You ain't worth it. That ride or die is going to spell calamity. And now the nations that see that and that recognize it, I'm telling you, this thing is going to look really, really dramatic because I always look at it like this. There is a level of coordination that is very and highly, highly sophisticated. I'm like, man, did their AI algorithm tell them all this? No, they understand what's going on. Go ahead, get drug in the war, get beat up. When you get beat up, guess what? You're gonna get mad, and when you're gonna get mad, you ain't gonna have no resources. And when you don't have any resources, guess what? Your people are gonna overthrow you, and when they overthrow you, they're gonna be on their hands and knees crawling, singing some boys to men. I'm down on bended knee. Do. Africa continent, come back to me. I need those resources, please. Dun 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 dun. I can't imagine not having my chocolate. I need it so early in the morning. Oh. They're gonna be in Munich singing that remix. They'll be in Berlin singing that remix. Please let us know what we need to do. We're sorry. Bend the knee. We will never bend the knee. All right. If that's what y'all do y'all feel the same way? Man, they will drag that person out of there so quick. Be like, who? Who we talking about? No, no, he don't speak for all of us. All right. So what do we need to do? Help us to help you. See, it's funny now because wow, can we not see all this happening? Can we not articulate? And now they can articulate it. We've been saying the same thing. Look, they overstepped. They're going to overreach. They're going to overstep. And look what they did. They overstepped themselves. They shot themselves right in the foot. And now the rest of the nations have paid attention. And now guess what? Now they're speaking up. Oh my goodness. Someone on the continent is speaking up, and then that means that there's going to be other countries speaking up, and then that means, oh boy, we're losing our foothold. Oh boy. You're going to tell me that there's going to be an African Union mission to the Congo. Oh boy. You're going to tell me that the African Union is not just going to be a Western puppet. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Things may get interesting. Because now folks are saying, wow, is this really how they see us? That's what they're looking at on the continent. Is this how the West looks at us? And here in the diaspora, we're telling our brothers and sisters on the continent, yes, yes, that's exactly how they look at you all. Sorry to burst your bubble because they gave them that nice little bubble. Oh, you're not like them. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Blah, 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 blah. You know, they gave them that ego stroke. And then when we go on over there to try to establish something and this and that, they go back to their Western overlords and then they say, is this something that we're allowed to do? I think they have good intentions. We've worked with folks like that in the past, and all the other countries that have done a great job and have they go to their Sith overlord that's connected to the dark side. But if I don't work with them now, do you hear the people? They're gonna overthrow me. Then get overthrown. Oh yes, family, it is that crucial. Yeah, it's getting that critical for them because now our brothers and sisters on the continent are like, well, What is going on? Why aren't you able to really work with us? Why do we have all of these barriers? Who is in control of these barriers? That's the question that we've always asked. Who's in control of these barriers? Why are these barriers here? Oh, I'm sorry, it's one of those things. No, it is a thing that we need to go and figure this on out. Because it just doesn't stop with us. And now they're asking the same question. What is the barrier? Why are we being forced to be in this predicament? See, let me explain this thing to you all, family, because I want you really to understand this image and get this imagery in your head very, very well. When you see our brothers and sisters on the continent dancing around in the mud huts, making TikTok videos and other YouTube shorts, do you know that usually about 5 miles away, the Indians and the Arabs and the Chinese, their communities look dramatically different? Well, I'm going to go into the wilderness and I'm just going to have to live how I'm going to live. Okay. And then you're going to be looking at those Indians and those Arabs and those Chinese. You're going to be like, wait a second. Oh, they weren't showing us how they were living. Wait, they got homes like this. They got plumbing. They got sewage. They have an electrical grid that works. You didn't understand how the word says that we Judah and Ephraim were what? Oppressed together. That's why they don't want us going there, because why? We're gonna spill the beans. And yeah, I'm gonna spill it. I'm gonna spill the beans on their communities. Oh no, they don't have to worry about roads. Their roads are good. They don't have to worry about construction. Their construction is good. They don't have to worry about their electrical. It's good. Power outages, no problem. That don't happen here. But we want to go there and look like, man, we're just gonna go there and sit in the dirt. Misery loves company, so I'm just gonna get comfortable. They don't want no Eeyore spirits on over there. They want a get us out of this cistern spirit and let's build this thing back up to be better than what they see. Do you understand? They see this. It's not like this is a new or model, some sort of a marvelous concept. They see it all the time. They just can't access it. They know what right looks like. They just don't have access to it. We have to be for real about things. And we have to stop digesting this Western lie. Oh, Africa is S-hole country. Africa's this, Africa's that. Okay. What about them Indians right there? What about those Chinese right there? What about them Arabs right there? Well, except for that. But everything else around you is bad, bad, bad. Don't worry about that. Well, why can't they build like that? Because we tell them not to. Y'all want to know the truth? We tell them don't do it. Oh, and if you have officials that want to help their people, we tell them it's not a good idea. Let me post this chat on up. Let me post this on up there for the people in the back. If that was true, they wouldn't be retiring and vacationing there. Hmm. Let that one sink in. You know, dysfunction and chaos is how this world works. The more that they can cause a dysfunction and chaos, the more that they can just go on in there and set up shop. We've known that now. Gentrification. It used to be blatant with, the red summer and things of that nature. Now they make it a little more nuanced. Yeah, they do. They do show us this. Yeah, it's the truth. Yes, you can live. But man, what does the word say? Look, he wants us to live abundantly, not abundantly in excess, but abundantly in being able to help our brothers and sisters. What good is helping yourself if you can't help others? Well, I don't want to help you, so I'm just going to keep you down. If I keep you down, I keep my status. If I keep my status, I keep my control. If I keep my control, I keep my power. That's the Western mindset. Do you see what that Western mindset and how that is being calamitous and what that's playing out to there in the Eastern Mediterranean? It's funny because we would say, Hosea 4 and 6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. But what happens when you have the knowledge? You actually have to act on the knowledge. You have to do, right? Let not your hands be slack, Judah. Deuteronomy 33 and 7. We have the resources while they're still here. We need to help our brothers and sisters, and that's establishing vital trade and commerce. You know how many projects that we get at Quest Unite Africa for different things. And all we can do was just literally just plan. Here's a business case. Here's some business documents. Here's how we'll plan this. Every single one of our board member literally carries at least about a dozen to a dozen and a half projects and no way to execute. Red, he literally has about 10 technology projects. Mike, I think, has about 20 under his belt. Brother Mike. The Reeves alone, they're carrying about 35 together. From filtration to farming to technology innovations, infrastructure rehabilitation, focusing on tech. They always have to stop me and they said, Brother Karras, you're on your swirl. Because I'll be going in, family. I'll be going in big time because I know that was part of my, that was literally part of what I would do. How do we build up infrastructure and create economy post war, post destruction? That's what I would do. Give you a little bit of my background. I worked at United States Central Command from 2011 to 2015. I worked in the J5. The J5 was strategy, plans, and policy. Part of the strategy, plans, and policy was rehabilitation. And I would always help on out the lieutenant colonels and colonels with something that they didn't think about. Yeah, think about this, think about that. Oh, that's great. From there, you actually have con plans, conditions plans. Hey, we do this plan with this condition with this organization. Those organizations would be other NGOs. That's how that works. That's why when those NGOs get a government contract to rebuild, that's why if you don't have the oversight, you have that what? That $1 billion gas station that never worked in Afghanistan. I don't think it was a billion. It was definitely like 30 or 40 million dollars for a gas station, for a gas station that never worked. You know how embarrassing that is? Okay, who was the colonel that was in charge of that? Don't point your finger at me. I'm just a lowly lieutenant. I would always attend their seminars through USAID. I had my little certificate because I think I attended that thing like a couple times. I was always fascinated with it. I didn't know I was fascinated with it. You ever know like there's something that would like I would always do kind of the mundrome, administrative stuff, here's this, here's that, blah blah. And they'll say, "Hey," at that time, "Hey, Lieutenant Copeland, we need you to do this. We don't have enough people and they're requesting somebody to go to this class." I'm like, "Hey, sure, I'd love to." I wasn't an admin officer, but I did a lot of admin stuff. As an officer, it's an inherent thing to do admin, logistics, finance, and even IT. But I was an analyst. That's what I went to school for. I was an analyst. Went to Fort Huachuca, got my little Van Diemen Award. I don't even know why they called it Van Diemen Award. I mean, I was just like, that kind of sounds demonic. If I can get a ribbon, okay, whatever. Did my captain's career course. I did everything. I asked him, I was like, "Can I do uh, command and staff? Can I get a waiver? If I can get a waiver, who can?" I haven't put in a waiver. I got a I got a 2-star to sign off. But man, APFT is good. Everything's looking good. I was working towards my retirement and beyond. Had it not been for the Most High who brought me up on out of there. So yeah, I got my little USAID red book. I got my little Near East, South Asia scholar certificate. I got my little tons of all this paperwork and certificates. If I really wanted to right now, I could have probably worked at like Council of Foreign Affairs or some other American Enterprise Institute with a lot of the contemporary the peers that I was with. Matter of fact, I could probably send an email right now. They'd be like, "Oh," and I'd say, "Yeah, my hands was in this, and this." Some things still I can't even still tell you about, and I see it. I see it happening even today. I'm like, wow. That's why I'm always careful with my words, family. That's why I'm always choosy, and that's why I always take pauses. It's not because I'm a great oratorical conservator of lingual etymology to peruse statistical frameworks and diagrams. No, I say that because I got to make sure that my mouth doesn't say anything that I could potentially get in trouble for. I don't care about YouTube strikes or YouTube violations. I don't care about if they say, oh, vaccine misinformation. I don't care. No, I care about them other things. Them knocks at those real knocks on the door. You said some things that was still on here, and blah 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 blah. And this is executive order and national security, and this is your signature, and this is this, and this is that. Even with Q2UA Africa, technically speaking, just by its very nature, that's a threat to national security. Now, would they steep that low and say, "Hey, we're going to shut you down for national security"? No, they wouldn't, because the time frames that they're in, it's not very palpable. There you go. Proves our point. There you go. No, they see us. They know us. I listen to these, military reports and military summaries, and I kind of laugh because I'm like, yeah, they're about 80 to 85% accurate. They're 80 to 85% accurate. They understand what's actually happening a majority of the time on the ground. But what they don't understand is the type of tactics that's being employed on the tactical operation and the strategic levels, and how those diplomatic interactions really shape those tactical maneuvers. I used to have to do those papers. I used to have to do those summaries, those reports. And then I'd have to give my assessment, and those assessments would, that's when it would be the top secret. Oops. Here comes the algorithm. And it's not here because I'm not referencing other reports. Back in my time as an FDO, as an intelligence oversight officer. Oh my goodness. But those were the days. I'd always say, Father, why did you have me, look at this or look at that and understand this and understand that? That's what I was doing. Understanding what it was to help rebuild nations. Understanding the frameworks of how that success could be done with the proper interactions. Don't worry, family. If I go missing next week, just pray for me. Hallelujah. Pray for me. Pray for Brother Karras. I'm good. Because you want to know why I'm good? Because I serve an awesome father. You know I serve his Yahuwah. So when I come here and I say, hey, family, we need your help. We're working against a almost multi-trillion dollar system. See, the funny thing is that you have to understand they have the money, but they ain't got no influence. Let me tell you something about how this thing really works. Behind the scenes, there are multiple Karrases that work for the United States government to try to provide that influence that they don't have. The only thing about me is I decided to say, I'm stepping out for his glory and not man's. I'm doing his work and not mine. If I did my work, I'm going to tell you this, family, I could have been chilling in Saudi Arabia for 3 mil a year and be like, what's been going on in the Middle East? What's going on with this awakening? Alhamdulillah. That's oh my good. All right, here we go. All right, before I bring you on here in the private chat, you good? You okay? You good with this? I'm bringing up a special guest. I'm trying to make sure in the special guest in the chat, if she's good, give me a one or give me a one for good or two for no. Because you know when I bring you on up, your cover's blown. Your cover. All right, here we go.
The Karis.
Kitty. All right, you're on. You're on. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we all hear you.
Oh, okay. Because I it was a whole time trying to get on here. Good morning, greetings, family. I am Shar, and I love working in the background to make sure that Quest to Unite Africa is doing what it's supposed to do under the law. So,
She keeps
I
us out of jail.
because we don't have time for that. So it is such an honor to serve and support the community from the standpoint of making sure that we're looking out for those landmines that can so easily beset us, and making sure that we're operating in excellence, especially since we all know that when it comes to things that are being done out of our community, they tend to be more closely scrutinized. So
Mhm.
we're just making sure all of our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. So, good
So,
morning.
good morning. So, Sister Shard, this is a rare occasion. I may have been bringing up my past too much. So, this is why Sister Shard, she probably came up in here and was like, Brother Kara, shut up. Brother, if Brother Kara stood, if you don't hear from me, tell my mama I love her. Mama, I love you. DTG, hold it down.
No, well, you know what? Honestly, Brother Karras, I was compelled to come on and speak to what you were saying about the economic situation because, as a part of Quest to Unite Africa, we are embarking upon navigating the landscape as business owners, right? And
All
building
right.
out those
So,
opportunities for other
so,
business owners.
so,
And
Sister Shar,
yeah.
you know that I hide that. That's not. I'm sorry, family. I don't like to. I hide numbers. I do. That's just my nature. I don't like. The real cost of this is that right now we need about $150,000 to operate. That's the real cost. That's the real cost. And I hide the numbers. And maybe that's on me. So forgive me for hiding the numbers. Because I told you, I'm not that type of guy. I never like to ask for that amount of money. Hey, we need 150,000. We had a pledge that was supposed to, um, present a good chunk into that, and guess what? That fell through.
Well, let's put it in perspective, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Go, because she'll break it down. She'll tell you why. Go ahead.
So here in the United States, those of you who've ever opened a business before, you're already a business owner, you know that the cost of like getting off the ground it's like under $200 here in the United States. But when you start talking about ports of entry on the continent, you're talking thousands of dollars to get your business off the ground. So we have to start asking ourselves why. Why are there multiple layers of taxation? And it's because what the United States has learned about its economy is that entrepreneurs are the backbone of the economy. That's how you build a strong nation. So if you don't want Africa to be strong, what do? You make it hard for them to participate in entrepreneurship on a level that will impact change in the region, that will create wealth. And so what we understand or what we know about business startup in the United States, it is the complete opposite on the continent because it has been systematically underdeveloped and entrepreneurship has been systematically discouraged because it's cost prohibitive. That's what's going on.
Yeah. So there was a bigger effort to this. And when the board understood this, I think the Most High that He brought us to where we had the interactions that we needed to have. But you have to understand, for them on the continent to have those type of interactions, it literally takes hundreds of thousands of dollars to even be in the same room with these folks. To get to
It's
where we
it
were
is
just at in Dar es Salaam, to get to the actual capital, to go in and be introduced. Do you realize the folks that generally do that and get to that area, they're coming and shelling out of their pockets millions of dollars because these are the Chinese, the Arabs, and the Indians that's doing it.
yes, and let me share what I heard from another African nation, from some of our family that's over on the southwest. they they are walking into barriers and delays for their business setup and for their immigration because the nation had to change the rules and make them more stringent because the Chinese were manipulating the rules. They were
Mm,
coming in and amongst themselves moving the same $5,000 between multiple people to to manipulate the banking rules so that they were not investing in the country. They were not paying the taxes. They were playing games.
hmm
And when the nation found out, they had to tighten up business setup and immigration rules, which now impacts our family that are making moves there to set up their businesses and to immigrate through their businesses. This is what we're up against. The issues that we're seeing with land ownership or land purchase restrictions is because of how other nations have come in and manipulated the game. They've played games. No one wants to pay taxes. So if you don't want to pay taxes, you find a way around the taxes. And once the nation finds out that you're not paying the taxes, they tighten up the rules. and they leave loopholes, and the people who are creating the rules create the loopholes that they continue to manipulate, and it's all set up against the people of the land, our brothers and sisters who were born and live on the continent.
Yeah, yeah. So no coincidence what's happening to China now. No, there's not. That's why they're going through what they're going through now. Yeah, it's judgment all around them. UAE, Saudi Arabia is judgment because why? Because that's the economic repression that they've been doing, and now they're doing what? Now they're getting felt. Now that meteorological judgment is being felt on them. But yeah, but that's really the that's really the cost. If we had about 150,000 in our hand right now, guess what? Things we would have so many projects up and going. We would have, I would say right now, we would have about 30 projects up and going. That would at least be, I wouldn't say fully funded, but at least that we would have 80%. And then when those operations go through at the by at least the time that we're doing our execution, we would be able to turn a profit that sustains operations. And that's a hard thing in this community to swallow. And it's not hard if it's a white organization and white people are asking, "Oh, 150,000. Let me get my checkbook." That's it? That's all you need? For us, yeah, 150,000 is like, all right. Yeah, we say that under our breath, man. Well, we won't see that happening. That's the disparagement of resources that we have. We're talking over the Q2UA board meet or budget meeting. We had a budget meeting. And it's like, hey, we're doing this. We literally have to grow crumbs to be able to get to literally a full course meal. If you want to know the truth, we're operating on crumbs. But I have to thank the Most High that we're operating on crumbs. Because we're doing more with the crumbs than we have with the full course meal. And I pray I'm saying, Father, I said, I thank you because I wanted to shoot out the gate and get this, and this done. And we couldn't. Sister Shar is like, Brother Karras, just calm down. Because the Most High is setting things up. The Most High is working. The Most High is moving. Pray for Brother Mike. Because Brother Mike and I, we've seen this. We're seeing this. And it's like, why is the Most High hamstringing us? We always have to ask that question. Are we supposed to be there? And then it's like, yes, we are. And then we ask the Most High, well, then, Father, why can't we get these resources in our hands? Family, it's not to say that you all aren't helping. Oh, no, you help. Every little bit literally helps. Because you have to understand what they do. You can't even make a $1,000 Zelle payment to us because we get flagged. We're flagged. We were having Zelle payments, no problem. And then we got flagged like 2 or 3 months ago. Try to make a $2,500 Zelle payment. Not going to happen. The bank will literally call you. Are you sure about this organization? Are you? That's what Sister Shar is dealing with in the background. Legal compliance. They don't want to see this thing happening. Yeah, that's the reality, family. They don't want to see us coming together. So every Friday, I come on out here. We try to keep the show nice and light. I try not to beg too much, but I have to beg. And it is. It is. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I have to beg. Why? Because we're in the biggest physical fight and spiritual fight ever.
So may I respectfully disagree with you?
She always disagrees. She's like, "No, we're not begging. Go ahead, sister. Go
All
ahead."
right. So we are stepping back into our identity as Judah. And Judah doesn't beg. Judah calls for the resources of the nation to build to the glory of the Most High. This isn't begging. This is what we are supposed to do as a people. We call ourselves a nation. Well, guess what a nation does? A nation supports one another. So when Judah calls for the resources and Judah puts a vision for those resources to go to use, then Judah answers as a nation because that's who we are. You're not begging. And for everyone who has responded to the call, you have been moving as a nation. We're doing what people do when they are brothers and sisters. We see about our people. But yes, to your point about this being a historical time, a pivotal time, I will agree to that. I only disagree to the extent that you are not begging, brother.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I'm jiggling my cup because just like
You
just
like the
like in the
man,
word,
the
just
Salvation
like in
Army man is in front of Walmart. He begging. He out
the
there jiggling that bell, getting on your nerves, coming in and out of the store. Them Christmas bells, that's begging.
yeah. That look, listen. I'm about to set up a Q2UA little holiday. I'm gonna set that thing up right in front of my Publix.
Look, you gonna put on what? You gonna put on the red, the green,
It's gonna be
and the yellow and the black.
red, green, yellow, black. Exactly. With seashells against a steel drum.
Oh goodness. 'Tis the season. But
Yep,
you can't use the bell, brother Karras. You gotta use some drums.
that's what I'm saying. It was gonna be seashells, seashells. I'm just gonna be slapping them against the steel drum. Ba-bang, 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 ba-bang. Asante sana, asante sana.
Oh goodness.
Oh, with fringes on too. With fringes on too.
Oh,
Frin-
the
Fringes,
imagery.
fringes on with the feather headband.
I can't deal with the
Questi, Night Africa.
oh gosh. We're gonna continue to pray for you, brother Karras.
Oh yeah. No, and that's and so yeah, Sister Shar is absolutely right. That's why look, and she had to put that in my head because I was really always like down and out about requesting funds, about rallying funds. Because for those that have been on the Covenant Awakenings platform, even when I was fully had all my PayPal and all that other stuff on in there, Patreon, I was really not that one to, oh, hey, please support, please get, no. For well over a year, I didn't even, I was asking people, I said, if you like to give, that's fine. But I didn't even want people to give. If people were emailing me, Brother Karras, I'd like to give a little bit of something. And now I'm asking folks, family, if you don't understand that the time is now, then I don't know if you're ever going to get it. And that's not up to me. That's up to him. If the Most High is not showing you in this time that the time is now, then that's between you and the Most High. That's all I'm trying to say. That's it. Well, the Most High himself has to come down here and tell me. Well, if the Most High gets off of his throne and tells you something, chances are you ain't going to be on this side of the grave after he done tells you it, because he'll snatch you on up. But you can leave your wealth in the storehouse for the malls. And let me tell you what the malls are. The malls are going to be CBDC fees when that thing hits. How come I can't get access to my money? Don't worry about it. You're on UBI now. What? Oh, no. You travel with social credit. Your social credit, because you say that you're a Hebrew Israelite. You say this, you say that. Your social credit's negative 30,000. How many credits do I get a month? For you, about 20. We're gonna start off in social credit debt. I shouldn't even laugh about that, but that's true. So yes, that is the need, family. That covers a good majority of our projects. That gets things literally up and running. So if there's someone that's in the sound of my voice and the Most High tells them to give something substantial, appreciate it. And I'm not saying that he can't, because he always does. So that's all I have to say on that one. I just give the Most High praise, and I just keep it moving. Because I'm going to tell you this. This is someone that said in the chat, listen, we haven't had that now, but we're going to get it. And when we get it, you want to know what's going to happen? Then everybody's going to be jumping on it. Well. Well, that's good. Okay, well, James Nolan, that's why I said, let the Most High tell you. Let the Ruach HaKodesh give you the understanding. I'm not coming on in here saying, hey, we need it. Look, this is Most High's organization. We've been doing what we need to do with the little that we have. And that's a blessing.
It is. And, one of the amazing things that's a part of the vision is paying fair wages to our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Yes.
We're hearing nightmares of the fact that number one, they're paid once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, they're working for people that don't look like them. And then when the time for their pay comes, they're either not being paid or they're being shorted their pay by a
Mm-hmm.
substantial amount, getting half of their pay rather than their full pay at the end of the month. And we're a solution to changing that, to investing in our brothers and sisters by paying them a fair wage, which is what the nations have refused to do to all of us, for all of us. They've refused to be fair and they've refused to pay what is owed. And we're going to set the standard by doing business the right way.
The funny thing about the Most High is that sometimes you already have what you need to have in your hand. And he looks at the heart of what you have. Plain and simple.
He does.
Because here's the thing. If you do have that in your hand and then the Most High gives you that test, what are you going to do? I've given you the provision and they're asking for the need. You know that's what we're doing as a community, right? We're going back to what the word says.
Absolutely.
And it's a hard thing. I get it. It's a hard thing. Well, I don't know because it's this, is that. I'm going to tell you this, family. I used to be, I told you my resume earlier. And now, YouTube, do not ding this channel. YouTube. Excuse me. Do not ding this channel, YouTube. It's not medical misinformation. Now the Army's coming back and they're saying, hey, for those that did not get the vaccine and had left, we want you back. And I'm not going to lie, family. Getting that, that's $6,000 a month, or excuse me, not a month. It was $6,000 every 2 weeks. It was nice. It was comfortable. And we want to stay comfortable. Truly, we do. But let me tell you, when you start to farm, let me tell you, when you start to break up the ground, it's not a comfortable feeling at first. But then when you break up the ground and then you plant, and then when you plant, you see the harvest. And when that harvest comes through, you understand the toil that it took. You reflect back on and being uncomfortable. Babylon wants you to be comfortable to the day that Babylon expires. Don't believe me? That's why we just read Jasher this week. Nobody's going to tell you, hey, it's time for this, it's time for that, better watch out for that. Nobody's going to tell you that. We're in a time, family, that there hasn't been like this in quite a while. And probably worse so just because the sheer magnitude of it being worldwide. What are you going to reap in? Are you going to try to reap what Babylon is saying? Oh, yeah, you can do this or do that. Try and get some of your money out the stock market now. Oh, we can and this and that. Try and get some of your money out of crypto now and out of these cryptocurrencies now. Because we're dealing with that with some of our people. You can't even get most of your money out. It's going to require you to go to the bank, set up an appointment, and then the bank will call you and let you know what the amount of money you'll be able to withdraw on what particular day. I'm going to tell you, family, 5 years ago, that would seem unheard of. And do you think it's going to get any better, or do you think it's going to get worse? Now you have people that can't even access their banks, that are literally trying to transfer some money, less than $50 from one account to the other account in the same bank, and they're having problems.
Did you notice, Brother Karras, that Zelle are no longer instantaneous?
Yeah, it's getting worse. It's getting worse, family.
And that's on the business banking and the personal banking side.
Welcome to CBDC. I don't know, family. Listen, I ain't taking no microchip or mark of the beast thing for none of y'all. But it's request United Africa. Father, you're gonna have to find a different way. Hallelujah.
For real.
Yeah. Zelle does that to black businesses. Yes, they do. They do it to us all the time. But Zelle, you don't really have that fee. You go through PayPal, you go through Cash App, there's always a fee. So what do you think they're doing, not just with domestic transactions? What do you think they're doing with international transactions?
Oh, they're taxing. They are taxing the continent and other so-called third world nations to purchase USD.
Mm-hmm.
They are taxing.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're trying to move things over to the continent, it's not the nations. We're trying to figure out, is it Tanzania? No. That was the United States. That was the United States. That's what we get messed up, family. So yes, family, I'm surprised. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very surprised Sister Shar is on this live. She didn't even text anybody. She had a quote about some of our things on the continent, and then here she goes. I'm like, wow. She said, "No, I
Yeah.
think in the background." She said, I move. I operate in the background." You know how many times I've been trying to get Sister Shaw on this? That's not for me, Brother Karras. That's for you. You need to do your job. I said, "All right, Sister Shaw, just don't fire me." Just no.
I have no power to hire or to fire at
I,
Quest Unite Africa.
she's gonna put that on out there.
It's not my job. That is not my job.
But I'll put the board. She'll say, "But I'll put that motion out for the board real quick." I propose.
My client is Quest Unite Africa, and I will serve Quest Unite Africa's best interests because that is my job. My job is to protect this organization, to make sure that this organization uh, is accomplishing its mission, and to eliminate any threats to the mission of my client. That is my job. So, yeah, I was actually en route. I had to head into the office today to meet with a client. And the meeting that I have today is estate planning, right? We have so many people in our community that's beginning to think about legacy, what they're leaving to the next generation, what they're building for the next generation. We're doing a trust today at my office. And what we're building through Quest Unite Africa is an expansion of that trust model, a family trust, something that's built for the benefit of the next generation, leaving a legacy, something that's not going to burn with everything else that's being judged, something that will withstand the flames of judgment that are burning all around us. And all of our legacy minded folk are getting it, are seeing it. And I'm meeting people who are not just looking to the continent, they're looking to other countries as well. I encountered two different people over the past month who were talking about Central America and building outside of this place that they know is being judged. And we're talking about people from all kind of backgrounds, all kind of worldviews. Folk who are paying attention are paying attention. And the writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even really have to speak the same language to see what's happening. So our legacy minded people are thinking 20, 40, 100 years in the future. What am I leaving behind? And so every time I meet someone from our community who is like, hey, I need to do this. And when that day comes for me, I need my family not to have to go through X, Y, and Z. I want it all to be in order. I love people who are putting their affairs in order before, bad things are happening. And Quest Unite Africa is a family trust. And when I say family trust, I don't mean in a literal sense, but that is the vision and the mission of building something for the benefit of our people who are there and our people who are here looking to make provision for the next generation. When I hear about all the young people who are there and who are thirsty and hungry to learn, to put their hands to work, but not necessarily having those opportunities. Those opportunities are locked up in us here in the diaspora. We're the builders. And we need our brothers and sisters on the continent. This drawing back together of respecting and honoring one another for what we all bring to the table. It's a beautiful thing. And it's only the Most High's doing. Like no one can take credit for what's happening between us. We're just positioning ourselves to be used in whatever way the Most High is calling us to be used. So for me, it's exciting. It's humbling. It's all to the glory of the Most High. This is his organization. That's why he does what he does. Sister Shar doesn't hire or fire. I just do my job. And, to the Most High be all the glory.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I appreciate Sister Shar jumping on in this morning. Question Night Africa discussions. Well, I pray that you learned something today. This is what we're literally up against. And this organization can only work not just with the Most High, but also with your support. And it's the Most High that works through people. He works through his people. And so, with that being said, if you feel led to give, please do so at quest2nightafrica.org. It's this time of every 3 months, we have a lease that we have to pay in Tanzania. It's around $2,000. That's our operating space. That's where we do things, conduct business, things of that nature. That gives us our physical presence on the continent. And it's not just for Quest 2 Night Africa. There's other folks that help in utilizing that space.
Thank you for saying that, because again, speaking to that family trust model, that office is for our family. If you are looking to establish a business, looking to establish legal presence there, let's talk about how Quest Unite Africa can serve you that way, utilizing what we've already established.
Yeah, 2000 USA. Now it's 2000 because it's 2000 every quarter. It's 2000 every 3 months.
And that's because of taxes as well. So that's another thing that, you pay tax on rent in commercial space in Tanzania. Look, we've learned that, right? We didn't know that coming from the United States. I don't think anyone here has ever had to pay tax with their rent.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also paying the United Republic of Tanzania their portion, their piece of the pie, because we're paying to play.
Yep. So that's what we're here. We gotta go a little extra harder on some things. Because I will be the one to blame. Brother Karras. Nah, I don't get blamed, but I do what I do. I do blame myself, because I'm like, well, Father, I could have said this, or Father, I could have done that. But I just learned to say, you know what, Father, I thank you because it's in your hands. I thank you, Father, because you're going to put on someone's heart. But yeah, it's quarterly rent. It's paid every 3 months or every 90 days. So we have those particular fees. We also have fees of getting established in Rwanda, getting established in Uganda. No, it's due by the end of this week. Or excuse me, end of next week. That's when it's due. Because of how our cycle is. And again, just as Sister Shar has said, look, we're doing the work to be able to get on into these places, and then from there establish the communications for policy Policy is the name of the game. We just think that, well, we're going to do this and do that, and then we literally get ran out by policy. Start reading Daniel chapter 8 and 9, chapters 8 and 9, because that policy, that dark talk, is all around the world, and it's made against us. Well, yeah, if you hadn't understood, when we first started Quest Unite Africa, we had already had a foothold with the Dry Bones Project being in Tanzania. However, the goal of Quest Unite Africa is critical infrastructure and economic development in the continent. Tanzania has access to at least 7, if I'm not mistaken, countries where at least 5 of them are landlocked. So Tanzania services interior countries. So it's a great way, and they're stable. They're relatively stable, even though they're relatively expensive, and that expense is because they can't control it. They don't control it. Now you're starting to see with what Sister Shar had illustrated why it is that they do what they do. And all that does is it just makes it harder for us to get established. Because why? Unfortunately, they don't really see us as their brothers and sisters. Not yet. They know that we're really there to help. They know that we're there to provide, better than what they have with the other countries. But it's still a lack of understanding, what it is that they're going to help us with, because you got to remember, they deal with distrust just as we deal with distrust.
Well, even the second layer to that is institutionalized poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're talking about a nation that's wealthy, but because of the economic policy that has been imposed on the nation, the people have been placed in a position of beggary to the US dollar. So when they see us, they see wealth because they see US dollars. And that is as a direct result of the systematic impoverishment by them being beholden to the US dollar. To have a bank account in Tanzania, you have 2 accounts. You have one in shillings and one in USD. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because USD is king from this artificial imposition of poverty. The people there, from what I've experienced and what I hear from the ground, are very friendly. But they're also seeing US dollars when they see us. And we're having to navigate that meeting of the minds with them, that okay, yes, we have US dollars, but we have also been systematically kept in poverty even under the dollar system in the United States.
Yes. Yeah, we operate on the dollar, and we know how that dollar can be restricted to us or restricted from us. That's just how this goes. And now you see how this worldwide economic wealth has been a chasm created for us to not crawl out of on both sides. You see that also in Brazil. No one's immune to this. This is what's happened. This is the curses that follow. And it's followed us all throughout the world. So, isn't it awesome to see? Look, in this time of understanding, we see now the game. Now the question is, can we all get on the rope and pull together? Because playing tug of war with just one, you're going to lose every time. Playing tug of war with many, and you begin to win.
Yes.
They realize that. They know how to play tug of war with all the nations. They know it. They know how to play tug of war. They don't even, by and large, they're only a sixth of the population. They only represent a sixth of the world's demographic, and that's decreasing day in and day out. But you want to know what they do? They do not get off that rope for the life of them, because they know once they let go of that rope, it's over for. So they hold on to that rope for dear life. We're like, I really don't want to even touch the rope. I'm praying that the Most High gives our people the heart, the courage, the strength to start pulling on the rope. We have to, family, because we've been losing the game for for millennia.
Yeah, independence is definitely a part of that slave science, right? That systematic weakening of our people. Shout out to all my Caribbean folks who understand how to come here together, help each other get here, stay in the same house for a little while everyone else gets their money up. Like, that collective economic system is still alive and well amongst our Caribbean folk. Um, and we got separated not only from our homeland, but we got separated from one another and our need for one another. Like, we need each other to survive. We were always structured that way. Even when we moved in camps, we moved together. That's where our strength came from, was our togetherness. And it's happening. Like, that's what's so encouraging. That's what's so blessed, is that you see it happening. And I love the illustration, Brother Karis, of adding bodies to pull on that rope. Like, yes. Yes.
Mm. Well, listen, all I know is I just say what the Most High puts on my heart. That's it. Just like I'm helping out with Sister Shar's commercial, but she didn't like the animatronic head that I was going to say she was. I'm telling you, I wasn't going to be graphic. It was just going to be a head. You're acting like it was going to be like looking like a what is it, a George Romero film. No, you're slaying giants.
We are slaying giants, family. We are the sons and daughters of the giant killers.
We are. The Giants just know, look, you're talking about money. Literally, it's fake. It is. You're not talking about gold, silver. You're talking about a fiat system. Because they know once you control the finances, they've lost control of you. This is why they're fighting. Understand why they're fighting. It's all a spiritual fight. It's just now they literally have to cross into that physical domain. A supernatural fight that's now in a physical domain. Oh, when this ceasefire goes and ends, it's going to get worse. Family, you know it's going to get worse. Because why? Because nobody can look. All right, you understand how ceasefire goes? Ceasefire is going to be viewed as somebody was weak. No. I got to go harder because I'm going to show you the ceasefire was because of them, not because of me. No. I got to go harder because the ceasefire was because of them and not because of me. You understand how much worse this is going to get? That's the psychology of this. These next couple of days is going to be very, very interesting. Understand that, family. With that, I'm gonna get up on out of here. Sister Shaw, I thank you for coming on. Please, please visit quest2nightafrica.org. quest2nightafrica.org. We also have a Patreon. I'm working with our PR folks with the Patreon. So we have content going, and we're working on the content. We've had our board folks on the ground, and they're giving us content. So please, family, please be patient with us as we get that content on. I anticipate putting that on the Patreon first. Those are for our patrons. We appreciate it. Sister Shaw just leaves. She didn't even say peace. She didn't say thank you, family. None of that, man. I'm gonna talk to Sister Shaw. Or maybe she'll talk with me, Like, I'm sorry, boss. I'm sorry, boss. I was sorry. No. Oh, good. No, she's good people. I give Sister Shar flack all the time, So, oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. So family, you know, this is a good discussion. What I am going to do, I'm saying this right now. I'm going to put the link on out next week for the Q2UA discussion. Next week. But next week is a big day for me, so I can only do it till about 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will shut you off. I'm not playing. I'm giving you the heads up. But I'm going to open up and we're going to have a good discussion. 7:30 to 10:30. Right here on WQ2UA, WQ2UA, servicing the tri-state area. No. Dun, 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 dun. No. I gotta say it with more pizzazz. WQ2UA. W. Oh, I'm sure somebody will pick up on that movie reference. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But family, I definitely appreciate you all spending some time with us this morning. I know these discussions are not really the most appealing, but you want to know what? Guess what? This is a reality. If you think that things are going to be the same in 2 years, then guess what? I do have some property in Arizona, beachfront property I'm going to sell you. Because this thing is going to be real interesting and it's not going to be the same. We're in a different age now, family. Let's continue to pray for one another, encourage, support one another. Again, on Monday, I'll be back on with Quest 2 Night excuse me, Covenant Awakenings. And then we'll go from there, family. Lift up your head, Yasharel, as Jacoba would say. Lift up your head and rejoice. Listen, the Most High is here, and I actually had a pretty good internet connection. Hallelujah. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with my stuff. Hallelujah. But with that said, family, Most High willing, I'll be back on Monday. You all have an awesome Shabbat. Have your day of rest. And for those that do participate in the Black Friday sales, don't go too crazy. Be careful, family. Be careful out there. And with that said, family, Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Peace and blessings, Yasharel.
Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Karibuni sana.